Loki proved to be a big hit for the MCU, not just for the fans but for the actors as well. Tom Hiddleston's Loki has been a fan-favorite character since his initial debut in 2011's Thor. He's had one of the longest MCU journeys out of any character, and deservedly so considering how complex Loki is as a villain and an eventual ally. Although the God of Mischief died at the hands of Thanos in Avengers: Infinity War, Marvel found a way to bring him back through Endgame's time travel plot. The 2012 version of Loki from the Avengers manages to escape capture, but he is immediately arrested by the TVA for straying from his intended timeline. This sets up the events of Loki Season 1, featuring Hiddleston and the addition of plenty of new faces. One of the stories explored in Season 1 is Kid Loki's crew, which is a group of Loki variants who reside in the void. Richard E. Grant was cast in the role of classic Loki, making the acclaimed actor's dream of working with Hiddleston finally come true. Loki Season 1 brings Richard E. Grant and Tom Hiddleston on screen together. The two have dreamed of working together. When Season 1 of Loki first aired in 2021, Grant did an interview with The Hollywood Reporter elaborating on his MCU experience. He revealed his history with Hiddleston that manifested prior to his MCU casting, which started when the two previously met at TIFF. The duo recognized their similar facial features, with someone even commenting that the two could easily play father-son. Grant and Hiddleston made it a goal to act together someday, and that dream finally came to fruition in 2020 when Grant was cast in Loki. Although Grant and Hiddleston didn't end up playing a father-son duo, the parallels between their characters in Loki Season 1 still managed to encapsulate that relationship. Classic Loki is an elderly variant who the MCU's Loki can consider a glimpse into his own future. Grant and Hiddleston's desire to work together stemmed from their similarities, and there's no better way to embrace the similarities than playing two versions of the same character. Seeing classic Loki on screen makes a major fan dream come true too. Classic Loki is more comic accurate. Richard E. Grant's classic Loki summoning a projection of Asgard in the void in Loki Season 1, 2021. Grant's casting in Loki Season 1 was a dream come true for the actor, but it was equally as exciting for MCU fans. Hiddleston's Loki has undoubtedly become a beloved character throughout his time in the franchise, so much so that he is one of the few characters to actually appear in every phase of the MCU so far. However, there are quite a few differences between Hiddleston's iteration of the God of Mischief and the version that's presented in Marvel Comics. Classic Loki is obviously older, but his name also refers to the fact that he is a more classical portrayal of the character. His costume is a clear reference to Jack Kirby's Loki design, and seeing these classical costumes on screen has been a dream for many MCU fans. No matter how loved and appreciated Hiddleston's take on Loki is, it's always nice to see the MCU pay homage to the comics as a treat for dedicated fans. Richard Grant's Loki Season 1 casting was a true highlight of the MCU show. Classic Loki's sacrifice was a memorable moment. Richard E. Grant's classic Loki laughing in the void in Loki Season 1, 2021. Grant and Hiddleston's history was a great coincidence for the show, but Grant was ultimately cast because he was a perfect fit for the role of classic Loki. Although his character only appears in a supporting role for 2 episodes, classic Loki makes one of the most impactful decisions on the show. In order to save Loki and Sylvie's lives, he sacrifices himself to the entity Alioth so that the show's main duo can get to He Who Remains. It's an honorable sacrifice, especially considering the events leading up to it. Classic Loki initially hated the concept of glorious purpose, but he was eventually able to accept the idea and fulfill his own. There were obviously going to be no doubts about Grant's acting considering the actor's award-winning filmography, and his performance is what took classic Loki's final moments to the next level. It ended up being one of the most memorable moments of Loki Season 1 overall, and knowing the behind-the-scenes history between Grant and Hiddleston makes it feel all the more rewarding.